Hi, I'm Grant.
And I'm Erin, and we're homebrewers.
But when we want beer that actually tastes good, we go to craft breweries.
There are thousands of great local breweries all over the United States that serve incredible beer.
Our goal is to drink as much of it as possible and talk to some of these brewmasters and experts about the growing world of craft beer.
We might even learn a thing or two about how to make our own homebrew better.
Probably not, though.
All we know is this craft beer isn't gonna drink itself.
So join us on Crafty. Welcome to Crafty. Today we're in Los Angeles County.
Home to over 10 million people, Los Angeles is the most populated county in the country. But despite its large size, massive entertainment industry, and numerous tourist destinations, the craft beer scene in LA has long taken a back seat to its neighboring city, San Diego.
But this trend is on the upset lately as a large number of craft breweries have begun to open in Los Angeles, as well as many LA breweries taking home awards from the Great American Beer Festival and World Beer Cup.
With over 40 craft breweries in the county, Los Angeles still has room for growth. But none would argue that LA has finally earned its way onto the map as a legitimate craft beer city.
Couldn't have put it better myself, Erin. But you know what? All this talking about beer sure is making me thirsty.
Me too. Let's go check out today's brewery.
All right, let's do it.
After me, right?
Nope, I always come first. I like the sacks hanging off the roof.
This is a great place for a date until you said that. I love the inside. Look at that artwork. That's amazing. It's very like French country. I like it a lot.
Beautiful. Very pretty. Paint me like one of your French girls, Erin.
Okay.
And look, they got the bright tank sitting right here by the bar. It's very excellent. Oh, and our audio mixer
Scotty.
is... Yeah, there he is. Our audio mixer. Mixing? Moving on.
Moving on. Oh, lovely.
That's a heck of a view. The mountain is nice and shiny today. The California oaks are dripping with dew. Isn't Serena gonna give a tour soon?
Oh yeah, let's go meet up with her.
We should glom onto it.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask that you step carefully over the hose. Everybody say hi to Dave and Fletcher. Dave is our brewmaster. Fletcher is his keg monkey. So how many of you have homebrewed, have done any kind of brewing before? I know that guy has. We brew all of our beers on site. All Ladyface beers come out of every single one of these tanks that you see here. This is a 7-barrel brew house, which is probably the smallest before you go to the nano size.
Founded in 2007, Ladyface Alehouse specializes in French and Belgian styles of beer. They're classified as a microbrewery, which means they produce less than 15,000 barrels or 465,000 gallons worth of beer annually.
They are also a brew pub, which means they sell at least 25% of this beer on site in their tasting room. Serena then began to explain the brewing process, which of course we're all more or less familiar with. But in case you're not, here's a quick primer. Grains, or mash, are steeped in hot water in the mash tun, which creates a hot sugary liquid called wort, which moves into the boil kettle, where the hops are typically added. Afterwards, the wort is cooled and moved into a fermentation vessel, where the yeast is pitched.
A week or so later, the yeast has converted the sugars into alcohol and carbon dioxide, resulting in finished beer. But you already knew that. So let's get a beer and talk to Serena. So tell us about what we're drinking here.
So this is Palo. It originally started as a once-a-year brew, and we've turned it into a year-round, one of our flagship beers. It started as a pale ale. We wanted to lighten it up a little bit and make it a little more sessionable, so now it's kind of been packaged into a session IPA.
So how long have you been up here in Agora Hill?
Oh, well, we opened in 2009, so
Okay.
we're coming up on our 5th year now. We live here. It's our local scene, so we wanted to stay close to home and build it in our own community. The inspiration obviously came from the mountain, Ladyface, and when you name your brewery after the geographical landmark, you can't really take that mountain with you into the city.
Have you ever tried the Ladyface Challenge?
Which is?
It's where you drink a pint of Ladyface IPA, climb the mountain, come back, drink another pint.
I just take the growler up to the top with me.
Maybe we should do that.
Slow down.
I run 1.5 miles every day.
That is disgusting. I'm gonna catch up to you. I'm gonna kill you. We're not entirely sure that this is legal, so don't do as we do.
Always hike responsibly.
Every city has its own style. What would you say defines LA's style?
LA to me is made up of a lot of little neighborhoods, you know, communities. So everybody's doing its own thing in its own little neighborhood, and that's what makes LA great, is it's so diverse. And the problem is, you know, it's largely a martini town. You know, everybody still likes their cocktails, so.
Grant likes the cocktails.
I'm more of an Appletini girl, but yes.
Yes, I can see that.
LA's a huge, huge city. What's it been like watching the craft beer scene go from nothing to what it is today?
Oh, it's been fun. When we first got started, there weren't that many breweries, you know. It was craftsmen and they were just cranking out great stuff, but not a lot of it, you know. Because breweries were not a huge number at the time, and really had to educate everybody about what we were doing. I think they saw a brewery, they saw, you know, topless ladies dancing on tables like we're a brothel, and that was a little scary for some people. So once we educated them on what we were trying to do and just the history of, you know, the craft beer industry, they love it.
We'll have more from Crafty when we come back. Stay tuned, or else. Welcome back to Crafty. We're here with Serena in the brew house, but before we get going, let's check out this short clip about the history of beer. Many historians believe the first fermented beverage dates back to around 9000 BC, probably in China. Initially, it was most likely an accident. Maybe some rice farmer left his grains in a clay pot, it rained, and then wild fermentation turned it into some gross boozy rice oatmeal sludge. But once people figured out that you can make alcohol on purpose, we never looked back. Some experts even speculate that millions of years ago, our ape ancestors got into the habit of eating fermented fruit off the ground, which led to the development of the enzyme which breaks down alcohol in modern-day humans. But the first beer-like alcoholic beverage made with barley comes from the Middle East. The oldest known brewery was discovered in the Egyptian city of Hierakonpolis, dating back to at least 3400 BCE. The brewhouse there could produce at least 300 gallons or 9.6 barrels of beer per day. Beer was largely considered the working man's drink, while wine was a drink for the ruling class. So wine people have been snobs for at least 5,000 years. The Egyptians enjoyed multiple different varieties of beer, believing the god Osiris to be the creator of the beverage, and it was also used as medicine and considered an important part of everyday Egyptian life. So Serena, what's the deal with the broom?
The broom. Well, alewives back in the day when women were brewing the beer, they would take their brooms, hang it over their door stoop. It would symbolize that they were brewers, and they would collect the wild yeast in the air and use that broom to inoculate their beer. And we think that's where the witch phenomenon came from.
Is that what that spooky bubbling I hear is?
Well, that's just yeast burping and farting into a bin.
Excellent.
No, really, a solution of sanitized liquid so that we don't introduce any bacteria up into the tank that we don't want.
Is that safe to drink?
No, it's iodine liquid.
I like iodine. I'll try. I'll sip it.
No, really. I'm all about brewery safety, so no drinking sanitizing liquid.
All right. Speaking of women brewing, it's kind of been their job since the dawn of time. And then we saw it shift back towards a man's game near the Industrial Revolution. What's it been like, your experience being a gal in this boys' club?
Not a problem at all. I think it's a great community, and I've never had any barricades.
So Serena, what would you say makes Ladyface's beer unique?
Well, I think it all starts from brewing what you love, and we love Belgian and French farmhouse ales here. And Dave loves his hops, for example, so we rock some IPAs here. We've got a great barrel aging program going on right now.
Great. And it seems like your community loves them as well.
Yeah, no, and it's, you know, converting, we were talking about women and building your consumer base. You know, I really had to reach out to the women locally, because women will think about, ooh, I don't want to touch a beer. But I wanted to empower them to have the confidence to reach out and discover for themselves. So the first thing I started was kind of a social club. Ladies at Ladyface does that, and every month we meet and I introduce some new topic, whether it's hops or Belgian beers. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Do you have a lot of brewers in that group, or is a lot of women that don't really know that much to begin with?
It's been kind of fun because some of them have started home brewing, and some of them now are working for breweries. So it's been a growing technique for a lot of people.
That's a great idea.
But no boys allowed?
No boys allowed.
Okay. Well, I'd like to try some boiling hot wort.
Sure, if you want to.
I do.
So let's get Grant his hot wort, shall we?
Yeah, what kind of ingredients are we playing around with?
We are looking at probably some Patagonia Special with hot water. Might not
right,
be
Grant.
as hot as we thought.
Drink up.
Double fisting. Just like my college days.
Chug it. You got yourself into this mess.
Chewy.
A nice refreshing glass of oatmeal. He has a mouthful of grain. Well, this is very entertaining, but is Dave around? What's our brewmaster doing?
Well, he'll be here shortly to start moving some beer around.
Chug it.
It's hot.
Chug it.
Don't chug it.
Listen to me, Grant.
You do like a tank sample. That's always like the brewery shot.
Yeah.
Of like this is our Chaparral Saison. That's one that we keep in-house. It is kind of a popular beer, but we make a small amount of it.
Right.
So we keep that in-house, and it's gone pretty quick. I mean, it's a lot of effort and a lot of raw materials and concept that we put into the beer. So to kind of, make the beer, like have your child and then sell it off to slavery, or like, I'd rather keep it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So you guys are big on local things, right? So
if it's available and it's good quality, why not?
it smells like pineapple-y. It smells awesome.
It gets 65 pounds of locally sourced organic honey. We get our honey from Bennett's Honey Farm. It's in Fillmore, so normally it's on a weekend drive. The dog and I will get in the car and drive up, and he runs around the farm, and I get honey, and then we come back.
So what are you guys doing today?
Today is moving beer around. Basically, all the kegs come out of the atrium that's over there, and then as we bring kegs in, they fill up, then we'll make a nice little stack of them, and we'll take them to the warehouse for storage.
I'm just the trained monkey around here, mix and stir and move things around. I guess someone's got to do all the work around here, right?
That's you?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, Dave's just back there goofing around, having fun with the camera.
So tell us about the barrel warehouse.
The barrel warehouse is north of us in Newbury Park. We currently have 132 barrels now. Within that, there's a sour side of that program. A lot of those things take a long time. The trebuchet that we're racking out a tank right now, today's the end of a 2.5-year process, so that started in early 2012.
That's amazing.
So normally when we start that process, after like 2 months, we'll taste it again. And then after 2 months, we could taste it again. And by doing that in like a time sequence, you could build a baseline and kind of track how fast it's moving.
That teaches you patience, for sure.
Yeah, right?
That's how you know you're a good brewer, though, is if you can, anticipate
it's
the
also
end.
advantageous to not have it here because then we're not staring at it.
Yeah, I had like a home brew in my closet for 2 weeks, and I was like, I have to drink it now.
Yeah, today's the day. It's tasty beer. I think when you guys try it, you'll like it.
Yeah.
It's different. It sits up behind you.
That's so sad, it's wasting.
Keg's full. Can you get me another keg, Erin?
Yeah, let's get some kegs. These boots were made for kegging. Much lighter than I remember.
Yeah, a lot of people, they have a hard time coming to grips with dumping fresh good beer, but every once in a while you gotta lose a little bit of beer. Obviously we try not to, but every drop's precious. Like a pint of beer is like, priceless.
Got your keg, Dave.
Now we're ready to switch this one over. You wanna do that one again?
Muscle to work here. All right. Not all the way. So I love sours. I can't let any of this waste. Gotta get every last little drop from this runoff. Yeah. Alrighty, well, Dave has some stuff to finish up here, but we're gonna head to the pub and try some of these beers. So we'll see you in the tasting room?
Yep.
All right, let's go.
Hey gang, welcome back to Crafty. Why not we try drinking the beer? All right, Dave, what am I looking at here? This is a pretty intimidating flight.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna start just like a food flight or a wine flight. We wanna start with kind of subtle flavors and kind of build to bolder flavors. So we're gonna start with La Blonde. It's a Belgian style blonde ale. It's 5.5%, and ultimately the philosophy with this beer is it's just a very kind of easy beer to get into, I would say. It's a good kind of crossover beer for maybe non-craft beer drinkers.
Really drinkable, refreshing. That's what Scotty's drinking too, right, Scotty?
I definitely agree about the whole gateway beer thing. This is an excellent way to get your friends started if they're stuck on a disgusting Pilsner or something with very little flavor.
Next is the Trois Filles Triple. Actually, it's very similar on paper to the Blonde, the first beer that we had, but it's a lot bigger, and we do put some late addition hops in that one. The alcohol is a lot more, so the 5.5 on the Blonde, it goes to 8% on the Trois Filles Triple. Same exact grain bill, just everything bigger, you know. There is a little bit of fruitiness to our Belgian beers, but we try to subdue that a little bit. A little bit of fruitiness is good, but not too fruity.
That's what my dad keeps telling me.
So the next one is Paulis. It's a session IPA. It's 3.8% alcohol, so very light. You could have a few of these in the afternoon and still maybe get some yard work done.
I love that smell.
Yeah,
That was a great
it still
smell,
has some hoppy characters to it. You know, with a low alcohol beer like that, we still want a flavorful beer and not have it taste kind of watered down. So we could pick up some of the body by using a dextrin malt, which is basically a low color barley, but it provides a lot of structure and body.
Yeah, these new session IPAs seem to be quite the thing nowadays. I think everybody and their mom has got one coming out.
It's a good introduction to IPAs too for people that wouldn't normally choose an IPA at first.
So what do we have next?
Next is Chesro IPA. This is our double IPA. It's 9.5%, and all the subtleties that we were dealing with in the first few beers are now gone. This is a pretty aggressive beer. The philosophy with this beer is to not make a bitter beer, so we de-emphasize bitterness and re-emphasize flavor and aroma. We do a mash hop, a 60-minute hop. 3 different hops go in for our 20-minute flavor hop, and then we put in also 3 different hops at the end of boil, which really intensifies aroma, and then we dry hop also, and then we'll actually hop in our serving tank. So
there's some hops.
Yeah. And with the IBU and the overhop products, IBUs are deceptive because, you know, you could have something that is high IBUs but doesn't really have a lot of like hop flavor or aroma. It just has the bitterness aspect of it. But you have to use that as kind of a general guideline. You can't use that as like the end-all be-all of what the beer is going to taste like.
Well, Dave, so far all of these beers have been really delicious. Grant, I heard a story once about a person that changed a channel during the commercial break, and they died.
We'll be right back. And we're back. What's next, Dave?
Chaparral Saison, next on our flight list. This is our French farmhouse ale that we incorporate honey, and you can really pick up those honey notes in the overall flavor of the beer.
Gosh, that's good enough to give me colony collapse disorder.
What's that?
It's a joke about beekeeping. So where did this recipe come from?
A few years back, we had a few friends of mine that are not brewers were arguing that they were the best brewers, so we put the challenge to them. The Saison didn't win, but we liked it so much that we kind of modified it and cleaned it up to be kind of more of what I would like. And so the Paulis and the Chaparral Saison all came out of that kind of like argument of who's the best brewer from people that are not brewers.
Dave, Dock Street Brewing in Philadelphia recently made a beer with actual brains in it. Probably human. Any plans to make a beer with body parts in it? I'm prepared to offer you a lock of my hair for your next Saison.
I was thinking about that, maybe like a Thor beer or something.
Oh, you just got compared to Thor.
It's not the first time.
Wow.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to this little beauty right here. Been looking forward to the whole time.
So next on our list is Trebuchet. This is a Belgian farmhouse beer that we sour. It starts off actually as Chaparral Saison, and then it spends
2 years, you said, right?
Yeah, this one actually is just over 2 years in Sauvignon Blanc wine barrels with a lactobacillus and a couple of 100 pounds of fresh Sauv Blanc grapes.
That is super tart. Very awesome. It's interesting to try it alongside the base beer because the honey finish is totally overwritten by the super, super tart finish.
Yeah, and I think that people that are into that style and even people that aren't, it's pretty accessible because it has some wine qualities to it.
And last but not least, what do we have here?
So we saved a very interesting beer for the last tasting here. This is Onager. It starts off as our Trois Filles Triple. and then spends a year in Maker's Mark bourbon barrels. We add Belgian sour yeast, and we also add calamundins, which is a citrus hybrid fruit.
Definitely taste that mandarin for sure. I love that.
This is the deep end for sure.
Yeah, it's fun, and I think it's an easy drinking beer. It's not like this big high alcohol cloying, beer. So I think it's approachable, and if you're willing to try new things, then why not?
Yeah. Well, Dave, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
So enjoyed learning all about your beers.
Pleasure as always, Dave. It's going to be a tough choice trying to narrow this field down. Obviously, we can't put them all in a growler.
Cheers to that.
All right? Yeah.
All right. Calm down.
Cheers. Appreciate it.
Guys.
Cheers.
Absolutely.
All right, what's your pick?
Well, they all have their merits, obviously. At this point, it's like picking your favorite piece of leftover pizza. They're all really awesome.
It's a great way of putting it, Grant.
If I had to pick the prettiest girl at the hot dog eating contest, I would say the Chesbro IPA.
Really?
Yes,
Okay.
I am a huge hophead, and this one is not cloyingly sweet as you would expect such a high alcohol beer. The hop finish is bright and floral and absolutely wonderful.
It is an amazing beer, but I'm gonna say the Trebuchet, man. I mean, that's an amazing sour.
Well,
So
gosh.
looks like we're gonna have to get a third opinion here, don't you think?
This is what we call a Belgian standoff. But the growler must be filled.
Boys, how about TK?
Yeah.
Help us out.
So what are we doing?
Well, my pick is Trebuchet.
Trebuchet.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Grant's pick is Chesbro IPA.
Chesbro, yeah.
It's an IPA. So you chose like the two most different beers on the menu for me to choose from?
Correct.
So that's the problem. They're both really good for their style. But if you're really gonna put my feet to the fire and make me choose, I like the Trebuchet better. I love sours, so I think we're gonna go with that.
Nice.
Sorry, Grant. I know we go back a long way.
You are dead to me.
I'm sorry.
All right, so Trebuchet it is, huh? Wait, who's directing right now?
Hey, Fletch.
What's going on?
Where's Dave at, buddy? He told me to get some of my homebrew and bring it by. This one just finished up aging. It's like a stout Berliner Weiss, basically.
Or kind of like a Kolsch, nice refreshing Kolsch. It's a perfect, beer for the beach.
A good beer to bring to somebody's dad the first time you meet him.
Yeah.
You want to give it a shot?
Right on, yeah, we can hang on to it for a little bit.
I chose a bottom fermenting yeast.
But also top.
Yeah, Erin went with top.
Right, attack it from both sides at once.
Yeah, I would say
Nutty,
it's got lots of hop
fruity,
flavor, but it's also got the clean finish
Floral
of
chocolate.
a barley wine. So let us know when you're prepared to buy the recipe. I will sell you the recipe at a high price, and I expect handsome dividends. I think Dave's gonna be very excited.
We'll wait till Dave gets in, let him have some. We can all sit down and take some notes and see what we think, what we got here.
We'll call you tomorrow.
Very good.
That went really well.
Yeah, it went really well. That's it for this episode of Crafty. For more information about Ladyface Ale Company, please visit their website. And as always, remember, drink responsibly.
And by that we mean, don't drink light beer.
Hot damn!